Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started shortly. We'll just give everyone a few more minutes to log on. Okay, is everyone able to hear? Seems like we're having some technical difficulties here. One moment, please. Okay, we're back up and running. Can everyone hear me? Okay, perfect. So we'll go ahead and get started here. So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us to discuss differentiation and response to intervention. My name is Bonita Allen. I'm a schools engagement executive at zzi.sh, and I'll be your presenter this morning. We also have Mr. Lucas Kong online. He'll be in the comments answering any questions that you might have throughout the presentation. So if you're having any technical difficulties or you have any questions about the platform itself, feel free to write and Lucas will be available to answer. If we're unable to get to your question at any time during the seminar or you think of something later, you can always email us at customers@zzi.sh.com, and that link is in the description, and you'll see it again at the end of the presentation. So we will be available. So let's go ahead and get started. Who is zzi.sh? We're a British ed tech company based in London, and we're a passionate team of individuals who bring together years of experience from high-profile roles at Google, Discovery Ed, BBC, Twig, and much more. Charles is our CEO and founder. He was Google's first product manager outside the US. He has degrees from Oxford and Cambridge universities and a PhD in artificial intelligence and robotics. So that's a little bit about who we are as a company. Now let's talk about who you are. As teachers and administrators, one of your toughest challenges is to identify learning gaps in a timely fashion. In order to, you want to identify those gaps early in the response to intervention process so that you can make a difference and make a change early. Oftentimes, we don't have a full understanding of these gaps until after benchmarking or after the students have already taken the STAR test. And at that point, it's a little, too late. And then a lot of our students end up struggling. So what we need is a way to identify those gaps on a daily basis so that we can address them early in the response to intervention process. And our solution to that is Quizlies. So Quizlies is a freemium platform that allows you to quiz your students in a fun, engaging way, and then analyze the results in a quick and easy manner to easily identify those learning gaps early in the response to intervention process. Just to quickly let you know, the Quizlies is free. The free version is forever. We do offer a premium version that is, you can talk to one of our sales reps about if you're interested in the premium version for your school or for yourself. But with the free version, you do have access to all the same features as a premium subscription. However, you're limited to adding only 3 classes and 5 activities with a total of 100 students at a time. So if you want to extend the activities to all of your students and be able to track long-term progress, for your students, then you may be interested in looking into the premium version. All right, so let's dive on into what Quizlies is and what it does for you as a teacher. So first, we'll talk about the quizzes. You're able to choose from thousands of ready-made quizzes covering all school subjects and grade levels. These quizzes are primarily made by other teachers. They share their quizzes once they're created, and then you can go in and search for a quiz by topic in our quiz marketplace, and then choose. You can preview the quiz and then choose to give the quiz to your students. And we'll show you how that process works when we get into the actual app here in a minute. You can also create your own quizzes in seconds. It's really easy to add images, audio, and video questions to help engage your students. We have over 13 different question types to include math mode, multiple choice, scramble, sorting, so the questions don't get repetitive and boring. And again, you'll keep your students engaged that way. And what we've added recently in the last few months is that you can choose from hundreds of ready-to-use TEKS-aligned quizzes that are created from previous STAR test questions. So when you're preparing for your benchmarks, preparing for your STAR tests, you don't have to create these quizzes on your own. They're already created for you. And then you can track the student's mastery on our mastery dashboard because the quizzes are aligned to the specific TEK. And we'll show you that in more detail once we dive into the platform. And then the students can play quizzes as a fun team game in the class. We have two different games that are available. We have a racing game, and we have a basketball game called Hoops. You put the quiz up on the board, and the students will play, and they compete against each other, and inspires them to think critically and quickly, and then encourages a little bit of competition, making the gaming fun and the quizzes fun. You can also set the quizzes as homework and have the students complete it on any platform at home. So once the students have completed the quiz, you then get to analyze the results in our clear and helpful dashboards. We basically help you gain insights that let you quickly pinpoint and address those learning gaps. And again, we're addressing them early in the response to intervention process. So you're going to give these quizzes on a daily basis that are TEKS aligned and preparing the students for the STAR. And you're getting this data instantaneously to let you know which students need help right now and which students are strong and then can progress on to some higher order thinking skills activities. And then you can focus on how to differentiate your teaching that way and provide response to intervention early for those students who then do need help. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into the platform. And you guys can kind of follow along here by joining the quiz. So we have a quiz called TEKS Science Grade 5. If you want to open your web browser, the description is, or the link is down in the description. It should say zzi.sh is what you'll enter into your web browser. And then you'll enter this class code, CVB6847. That class code is also in the description link. And I'll give everybody a chance to just kind of log in there. And we'll show you what a quiz looks like from the student's perspective. So when you're assigning a quiz to your students, every class will have their own unique class code. So if you have, let's say, a first period class, and you want to put them all in this class, you'll be assigned a class code, and you can give them that code on your Google Classroom, on their syllabus, however you want to give it to them. The class code will always be the same, and then you'll assign assignments to your class using that class code. And that's how the students will log on and join. Right now, we only have one activity available for this class, but you can have multiple activities available at one time. And you can see quickly right here how many students have taken the class and overall how well your class is doing. We see that a lot of the students in this class on this TEKS Science Grade 5 quiz are almost there, but could use a little help. There's one student that already has it down. So we're going to click on the results, and I'm going to show you what the live game looks like. So again, we have two games available. You have your team versus team and team versus computer. And this keeps it interesting and fun for the kids, so they can choose to play different games at different times when they're taking the quiz in class as an entry ticket, a pre-assessment, or as an exit ticket at the end of the day. It keeps things fun and lively for them. We're going to look at the team versus team really quick. And you can see here that our team is progressing. We still have Gabby out here. She's actually on her third try. The students all start out on the outside of the game, of the screen. And as they progress and answer questions correctly, or as they answer each question, they move closer to the finish line, whether they're answering the question right or not. So the students don't know who's getting questions right or wrong. They just know who's closer to finishing the quiz. So they want to answer the questions quickly and correctly, and they'll get more points for correct answers. And the quicker they answer, they'll get extra points as well. And you can see here that the green team has won this game, but Gabby's still out here and has a few more questions to answer. So she could add more points to the overall score. And again, when you're having the students play in class, they just enter zzi.sh into the web browser, and then they'll enter their unique class code. And quickly, I'll show you what the hoops game looks like. So you have your regular hoops game, and then you have your AllStar Hoops game. After the students have played 2 or more activities in class, they can unlock the AllStar Hoops game, which is a little more difficult. So as the students are answering the questions, I'm going to turn the sound off on the game. As the students are answering the questions, on this side, the students will score points. You'll see the basket being shot, and players will come up with the students' names, and they'll dunk the basketball. As they miss questions, you'll see players come up on this side. So this is a team class versus computer game, and the computer will score points for every incorrect question. But again, the students don't know who's getting the question incorrect. They just know that they are, as a team, scoring a certain amount of points. So that's what the game looks like for engaging the students. And we'll go through and show you how to add a new activity. So from your dashboard, you'll click on Add an Activity, and we're going to go to Quizlies. And if you're in Texas, you'll see that the TEKS questions are already available to you. We'll get back to that in a second. I do want to show you the marketplace. So you can go to the marketplace, and you can quickly type in Spanish vocabulary. I'll just do vocab and see what comes up. And here there are all these different teacher created quizzes, and it tells you which quizzes are more popular. Some of them are popular, very popular, and super popular. So you can click on it and preview the quiz, and these quizzes are all free. If you like the quiz, you can edit it, and then you can give that specific quiz to your class. Very easy to do. If you're looking for quizzes that are aligned to the TEKS, we'll go here and you'll see the different subjects are available: math, reading, writing, social studies, and science. We're going to click on science for now. You scroll down and you'll see that we have the quizzes available for 5th grade and 8th grade science quizzes. There's 51 quizzes available and 67 for 8th grade. So we'll click on the 5th grade science quizzes. It says grades 3 through 5, but we are correcting that. It is for the 5th grade STAR test. We do have past papers available. We have skill review quizzes, which are usually shorter quizzes, and they're based on the individual TEKS. And then we have the topic review quizzes, which are a little bit longer usually, and they're on the overall topic, the top level skill. If you scroll down, you'll see all of the different quizzes that are available, but we can click up here on, let's say, skill review quizzes. We'll pick any one of these quizzes. Look at TEKS Science Grade 5, 5.5.A, classify matter based on physical properties. So we can add this to my quizzes. And now that is in my folder of quizzes. What I want to also do is click play if I want to assign it to a specific class. And now you have the option to use sounds, randomize the question order, so you can give the students different tests, especially important when you're doing benchmarking or end of chapter quizzes. You can choose a number of questions. So on this question, for instance, we had 19 questions available. But we want to use it for an exit ticket, a quick exit ticket at the end of the class. So I want to give each of the students just 5 of those 19 questions. It's going to select 5 of those 19 questions randomly and give it to each of the students. Give different 5 questions to each of the students. So essentially, all of your students are getting a random selection of questions on that particular skill. You can choose to use the timer. You can turn the timer on and off. The timer is set to 120 seconds for these particular quizzes. And if you want to give the students a little extra time, especially for homework or something, then you can choose to turn the timer off. If you're using it for the classroom game time, then you may want to keep the timer on. And then you can choose to show question feedback and show the correct answers. This is great for homework time. If you're giving the students the quiz as homework, they can get that immediate feedback on the correct answer and why that was the correct answer. If you're doing it in class and you have, say, a first period class take the quiz and you don't want them to be able to see the correct answer and pass it on to the 4th period class, then you may want to turn this option off. If there are math quizzes available, you can choose the show your work option. And this is great. The students can just capture a quick snapshot on their camera phone, on their webcam, or whatever to show the work that they wrote on a piece of paper so that you can better understand how they got to the answer that they got to. And then finally, our final option is mastery mode. So if you turn this on, at the end of the quiz, the quiz will then give the students the questions that they missed over and over again until they get it right, so that they can then understand what the correct answer was, and it kind of helps set in their mind and helps them master that particular skill. So we're going to click continue. We want to give this to I'm going to assign it as homework, and I want this homework due on, I can choose to have it available for 7 days, for a month, or even for a year. Let's see. I'm going to do a custom time frame because I'm going to say that Thursday is the last day this homework is due. So actually, that's in February. So where are we today? Wednesday the 24th is the last day that the students can turn in this homework. And then on the advanced options, we can choose to say they have 2 times to get it right. They can only take it 1 time. Or we can give them unlimited number of tries. So I'm going to give the students a limited number of tries. I want them to be able to see the results of their activity when they're done. And then I am going to click finish. And now my class, the class that you guys are in right now, CVB 6847, has access to this quiz. Once the students start taking the quiz, it'll populate in the same way that the grade 5 Earth and Space quiz was populated. So now that we've given the students a quiz, they've taken the quiz, we want to be able to immediately analyze the results. So while the students are taking the quiz, you don't have to wait for them to be done. You don't have to wait to grade the quiz. As they're taking the quiz, these results and these insights will automatically populate for you. Some of the things that you'll be able to see, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you guys. You can see who needs help. So we're on the Who Needs Help tab. Automatically, the students, as they're taking the quiz, they are sorted into these 3 groups. They're regrouped into strong, the strong category. So we have 2 students, Gabby and Alid, in the strong category. We have 10 students in the almost there category. And then we have 3 students that really need help on this particular topic. So these 3 students, we definitely want to focus on our response to intervention and make sure that they're learning in the way that they need to learn to be able to grasp the information. Let's click on Alid. You can click on any one of these names and get even more insight into how the students were doing on the quiz. So we're going to click on Alid and check out his results. And as you can see, Alid got 8 out of 9 right on his first try. He took the quiz twice. On the second try, he got a 100%. That was an 11% improvement in 2 tries. And then if you scroll down, you'll see how he did on the first try. This is all the information for his first try. You can click on the second try tab if you want to see the information for how well he did on the second try. Right now, we're going to look at the first try. We'll see that he got 1 question wrong. And this is the question. Alid needs to practice these questions. A student draws a model showing the movements of the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun. That's the 1 question that Alid got wrong. And then below that, you can see what the right answer was, what Alid answered, and how long it took him to answer that particular question. And then if you scroll down, you'll see which questions Alid got right and how many points he scored. And on the side of each question, it shows you how long it took him to answer that question as well. So sometimes questions might take a little bit longer because there was a lot of reading involved or a diagram that they had to interpret. And sometimes it may be because the student really didn't understand that question. They took some time, they guessed right. And so that gives you a little bit of insight and something to discuss when you're talking with the student reviewing the quiz with them. Then we can go look at Alid's second try, and you see that he got all of the questions right. Over here on the side of the screen, sorted into these categories again, are the students. So you can click on any one of the students and see the same snapshot for each of the students. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Roxy. And you see that Roxy also took the quiz twice. In her first try, Roxy got a 4 out of 9 correct. And on her second try, she got a 100%. So in 2 tries, Roxy improved 56%. So you definitely want to go back and make sure that Roxy, she got these questions right the second time around, but you want to make sure that she understands why the correct answer is the correct answer instead of maybe just guessing the second time around, guessing correctly, or getting the feedback the first time around and then answering it correctly the second time around. These are the kind of topics that you want to make sure that you give Roxy a review on the next time that you take the quiz, the next time that she takes the quiz, or whenever she's preparing for a benchmark or for the STAR test. And again, we can just easily click on the second tab and see that Roxy has improved and gotten all of her questions right this time. So that's, again, our Who Needs Help tab and the students' individual dashboards. Now we'll move on to my favorite tab, the What We Need Help With tab. And so this kind of gives us an overview of how we're doing overall as a class. It kind of gives me a little bit of insight into my teaching and what I need to focus on when I'm doing my reteach. So which questions were the hardest for us as a class? 12 of us needed help with this question. 10 of us needed help with this question: which of these best explains why the sun appears to move across the sky each day? And not only does it show you how many students got the question wrong, but it shows you how they answered the question wrong. So 5 students answered this rotation. 6 students answered that the Earth rotates this way, and this is why the sun appears to move across the sky. And so we want to maybe focus on 3 students answered with this third answer, and 1 student answered with this final answer. So when we're doing our reteach, we may want to do some small groups and have these students kind of discuss amongst themselves why they thought this was the answer and how they can come up with the correct answer. Maybe we want to pair some of the students that got the correct answer with some of the students who got an incorrect answer and have them discuss it in a small group discussion where they can really be learning from each other. Another insight that this kind of gives us is that if we see, I'll go back to question number 1, that a lot of students got this question wrong, we can go back and read the question and we notice that there was not an actual question. So the question was worded poorly. It says the student draws a model showing the movements of Earth, the moon, and the sun. And then it shows a diagram. And there's no actual question. The answers are arrow 1, arrow 2, arrow 3, or arrow 4. And there's no actual questions for the students to answer. So I can go back and look at that and say, okay, we need to readdress this. This is why this many students got it wrong. The question was worded poorly. Or maybe even, you know, I go back and look at my reteach. If it wasn't the question, I can say, maybe I said something during the lesson that made the students think that it was this. And so then I can go back during my reteach and say it in a way that the students can definitely understand the answer and come to the right conclusion. So this is one of my favorite tabs for doing reteach, and especially for your response to intervention. Okay. And then we'll move on to our spreadsheet, which just gives us a quick snapshot and an overview of how the students did, how they answered each question. You have all of the questions listed across the top. You can see quickly who got what questions wrong. Again, you can see which questions were the hardest. And this first question that was worded incorrectly, you see that that's listed first because a lot of students got that question incorrect. And again, the students are grouped into their groupings. You can sort by weakest first, strongest first, or sort alphabetically if you want to see how many tries each student had. So you can see here again that Alid on his first try got 8 out of 9 right, and on his second try he got a 100%. And then you can also see students that are progressing. So on Gabby's second attempt, she didn't answer any questions. We can try to figure out, maybe she had to close out of the quiz for some reason. And then on Gabby's third attempt, she's still answering some questions on that one. So far, she's answered 4 out of the 9 questions. So you get this insight and you see how students are progressing as they're answering the questions. You don't have to wait until Gabby's done with the quiz to know how she's doing on the quiz. This particular quiz, because it was already a subtopic, there's only one subtopic, and it shows you how you're done, how the students have done on that particular subtopic. But on a quiz where there were multiple subtopics, if you did a chapter quiz, for instance, and you can assign different subtopics to each of the quizzes, each of the questions, you can see where the students are really starting to struggle. If it's, let's say you're doing a weather quiz and you're talking about evaporation or erosion or something, you can separate the questions into these different subtopics and see how the students are progressing or struggling with each individual subtopics. And again, this is going to help you with your reteach. Okay. And so now that we've seen the results of the student's individual quiz, we can go over here to our mastery dashboard. And it's taking a minute to load. Okay, there we go. And this dashboard is really where you're going to get your bang for your buck, right? Your students are, their results are going to go from their quiz into this mastery dashboard, and you can see how they're doing on each individual TEK. And for some reason, my TEKs are not loading. So let's see. We were looking at the Earth and space for this class. Oh, because it's the specific Earth and space, the 5.7 to 5.8. Oh, actually, let's see. Maybe it's because I have it. Besides that I have it loaded. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. We're definitely having some technical difficulties here. But normally you would see along the top the specific standard 5.7.2. And it will tell you that Emily, for instance, scored 33% on that particular TEK. As a class, we got a 48 average on that particular standard. And you can see Emily's average across the board on her different quizzes. She got a 40% on one quiz, a 33% on another quiz, a 56% on another quiz. And as an average in the class right now on her Quizlies quizzes, Emily has a 32% average on her TEKS Align quizzes. But overall, as a class, we have a 76% average on this particular TEK, and we are doing pretty well. Again, you can scroll down and you'll see each of the individual students' averages. And how well they're doing on each individual standard. And because we're having technical difficulty right now, oh, there they are. Okay. Here's the different standards, as I was saying, guys. 5.7.A, 5.7.B. So what you can do is, instead of choosing the TEKS aligned quizzes that are already available to you, you can go here, click on quiz for this particular standard. These are the quizzes that are available for that particular standard. You can give it to my class, or you can add your own quiz. And I just want to show you guys how easy it is to quickly add a TEKS aligned quiz for your class. So because we clicked on give it to my class from that standard, it's already aligned to the standard. We're going to type the title here. Right now we're going to type test. We can do a subtopic, and this was about 5 point. 5.7.A, Earth and Space. And we're going to add a new question. So we're going to say this question is or let's say, what planet is closest to the sun? The correct answer is Mercury. The incorrect answers are Venus, Earth, and Mars. Answer explanation, Mercury. Is the closest planet to the sun, and the subtopic will put planets. We don't want to do math mode, but we have the option to do math mode here. I can use an image. If I choose, I can choose to turn on audio. I can change the duration of the question if I think that this is a more difficult question. Right now, it's automatically set to 30 seconds. I may want to give them 120 seconds if the question was a little bit longer to read. And that's it. I can go ahead and add a new question. That's the extent of adding this first question. If I want to add a new question, I'll just click add a new question, and I can add a second question to the quiz. Once I've added all the questions, I can delete questions. I can move questions up or down using these arrows. I can choose to edit my first question if I want to go back and change the wording a little bit. You have the option to import questions if you have questions that are already available in a CSV file. If you're using Quizlet and you've already created question sets on Quizlet, or your students are using Quizlet to study and you want to quiz them on how well they're studying and how well they're learning their Quizlet sets, you can import that Quizlet set here. If you have questions about how to do that, you can go to our help guide, or you can schedule a one-on-one demo and we can show you how to do that as well. So once I'm satisfied with all of my questions, I'll just click save and finish. And then I can give it to my class. You'll see a list of all the questions here. Again, you'll have the option to edit the questions if you want. I'm going to click give it to my class. And again, we have these options that we reviewed earlier, the same options. Click continue and choose the class that I want to assign it to. Right now, I'm going to do the Texas TEKS demo. And again, you have the option to play in class or as homework. You can assign the specific time frame that you want to give it to them. The advanced options, unlimited tries, and allow the students to see the result of their activities. And I can either save it and give it to another class, or I can go ahead and finish giving this class to the Texas TEKS course. And so now I have this test. Once the students take this quiz, that is also aligned with the TEKS demo. So you don't have to use the previous or that's aligned to the TEKS mastery dashboard. So again, we have the TEKS, the star-based questions that are available for you, ready to use, easy to go ahead and assign to your students. And if you want to assign them questions that you created on your own, or if you don't want them to practice star questions right at this time, you can create your own questions and your own quizzes that are aligned to those specific standards. Okay, I'll go back to the presentation here. And so that's basically it, guys. Enhancing your teaching with insights. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, as we like to say. Number one, you're going to get the data. You're going to capture the data using quizzes and as homework or in class fun quizzes for the students. Again, those quizzes are readily made, readily available to you, so it doesn't have to be a difficult thing. You can use them every day as exit tickets. You can use them as formative assessments, as summative assessments. However you want to use them, these assessments make it easy for you to just, really assess where your students are prior to benchmarking, prior to taking those standardized tests at the end of the year, making sure the students are prepared. And then you're going to get the valuable insights that you need in real time and over time, and be able to track the students' progress. You can track the students' progress long term and really be able to help them progress prior to them taking the STAR test, and help them when they need the help. early response to intervention. And finally, you're going to be able to take action and know the most efficient way to support all of your students and differentiate your teaching to be able to help them in a way that they learn best. So if you want to find out more about Quizlies, you can watch a quick 3-minute intro video. It's available on YouTube, or you can book a live web demo where we can understand your needs, your specific needs as a teacher, and show you all the TEKS content, answer any questions that you have. We can show you how to edit your quizzes, how to do different question types, and how to just best get the most out of Quizlies for your class, how to differentiate your learning and or your teaching and get that early response to intervention, and how to best help your students. Some of the best practices that we've learned from some of our other teachers. So if you're interested in booking a live web demo, you can go to the link in the description, and we'll get that to you as soon as possible. And finally, thank you guys for attending this session, this quick webinar. I hope you guys learned something today. Again, if you have any additional questions, Lucas is available in the comments. We'll be available for another 5 to 10 minutes to answer any questions that you might have. And we will be emailing certificates out to you in the next 1 to 2 business days. There's a link in the comments that I am going to add. So let me go ahead and add that now. And it's just a quick Google form that you'll fill out for us, and we'll gather your information and let's see. We'll gather your information and send that certificate out to you as soon as possible. So let me go ahead and add the link to the description for you. And again, you just want to go ahead and refresh your screen. And that link has been added. So if you refresh your screen, the PD certificate should be available for you now. And this session will be good for 1 hour of professional development from Quizlies. Again, thanks for joining us, guys. I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic now. But if you guys have questions, we'll be in the comments answering any questions that you might have.